freedom of God. Freedom is the truth of all creation, and freedom is what you are. But it is unknown in the world of form, in the world of illusion. There is no freedom. It's a word that's used, but the reality of freedom is not at all what the world believes that it is. To be tethered to God, to be with every direction that God provides, to be the servant of love, is a place of freedom. It's the only freedom. But until you cherish the direction that opens, it can have the opposite effect. It can have the effect of trying to get away from it, trying to be free of God's direction, wanting the habits of the past to be the top dog, but not being able to see that the mind that is separate from creation is in an enslavement to separation. It takes faith, it takes trust to want that freedom that doesn't seem to be the freedom that you thought it might be. Freedom of love is where the heart sings, the heart soars, the heart has no limitation, and you are free of the rules of this illusion. The rules that have been made up, the rules of good and bad and right and wrong that are spoken of all the time. But every prayer could be, I want to know, I want to experience, I want to be under the direction of love itself. I want to be tethered. I want to be led. I want to be in communication. And I want to not know the answer from the world. I want to be free of having to decide, of having to protect and defend in any way. I want to be tethered. I want the clarity of spiritual direction. Can that be your prayer? Is that where the heart rests, that becomes the examination within. The idea of being tethered can seem like an enslavement, because in the truth of love, you are no longer on your own. You are not thinking up decisions, conclusions, assessments, opinions, and judgments that are exclusive to you. And in the freedom of being tethered to God, you no longer see yourself as separate. You no longer care about your personal ideas and opinions, conclusions. All of them start to fade. Not because they were bad or wrong, but because they had no meaning. And what you're opening to in that wanting to be tethered is you're opening to the vibration and the energy field of love itself, of creation, and of pure knowledge. And the pure knowledge comes through a delivery system that is at peace, because it's not looking for knowledge. It can wait until the knowledge that is needed shows up in the moment, and trusting that it always will, because you're tethered, and because you want to be tethered to God. It's kind of like wanting to go on vacation to be on your own. But the freedom says, no, I don't want to go anywhere without all of love being there with me. I don't want to escape. I want to dive. I want to sink. I want to be smothered in love. I want to never be able to turn in any direction and not be smitten in love. Everything becomes perfect because there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. Allow yourself the pull, the yearning to come out of its hiding place and long to be tethered. You probably spent your lifetime, and probably many lifetimes, with the declaration, with the intention of, when I finally get there, I'm going to be the decision maker. I'm going to be nobody's going to tell me what to do. And then the heart starts longing. Please, please tell me what to do. Please show me. Show me the vastness of perfection. Let me dance in love. Let me embrace all that God is. Let me melt into the center of the heart of God. Tether me. and the me disappears into the freedom of oneness. This is your natural state. This is not a place of Harry Potter. This is the reality of your true self, born of God and remaining as God created. Nothing can change that. Nothing can change the truth of who you are in the oneness with God, in love and perfection. But the illusion acts as a veil. Everybody's heard that term. The veil says you're not one. The veil says, look, you're a separate person with secret thoughts and separate ideas and separate goals, separate intentions. And the entire spiritual journey is about bringing all of that intention back around to realize what your true intention is. To remember that you are tethered to all of creation and you are free. Not as a you, not as an identity, but as one with all love. The love is in our union, the union of our heart. And the union of our heart is the garden of love. It is where you are tethered to God. In this world, there is no union. And so each beloved must and will come to the realization that there is another self that is waiting to be embraced and recognized and returned to creation, to God. Allow yourself to walk with holiness, walk in the holiness of God. It's where you belong. It's where you truly are. And the mirage will start to disappear. Step by step, back to love. And in each moment, affirming deeply as possible, there is only one presence here. It is the life force of God, and that life force of God tethers you to the source of all life. It is what you are. The universe is all love. Tether yourself to that love. To realize that you are that love. Nothing else is true. The door opens constantly. Stand at the door and wait for the door to open and come in. Find that place within that is yearning to come home, yearning to remember freedom. tethered to love itself, the real freedom. I'm going to read a hymn because it speaks to this moment. And I'm going to shake, and I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to quake, and I'll be in my center. And I ask my Divine Mother to come and help me. I call the rain, I call the wind, I call the ocean to help me. The Christ is with me. And within this power, we are the owners of all power. I am, O my Holy Father, I am your beloved. I have the truth with me, and I have the light that you have given to me. And in the heart of my Divine Mother, I'm going to hold on with faith. I open all of myself as I adore you forever. I'm going to shake and I'm going to quake. Everyone has experienced this in the journey of love. When opportunities come, but it seems like such a leap of faith that it's not even imaginable. And yet, through the shaking and quaking, we find our way with faith to the deeper truth that was waiting through the shaking and quaking. The beauty of shaking and quaking is that once you accept it as a natural element of healing, it becomes your friend. That every time the shaking and quaking shows up, you're able to remember, oh, this is about a healing. I'm going to be transformed through this into a deeper awareness, a deeper connection. I'll be tethered more closely. The shaking and quaking becomes the place that takes you into the center of your being, because this is where we have to go, to the center of the heart, the center of truth. And in that, everything becomes peaceful again, but through the shaking and the quaking. It's not your enemy. It's not a burden. It's a symbol that something is shaking out. Something is being shaken through your core that you no longer are willing to hold on to because you've outgrown it, because you're ready to heal, and because it's the moment. And you put your faith into that moment and that transformation, and you hang on while the onion gets stripped away. And it's always about finding power, the power of love. The power of the rose is the power of the heart, is the power of our love that comes from our mother, the power of the rose of the heart of each of us, on the breast of all of us, to love one another in the heart of each of us. There is one rose to love our brothers and our sisters. The power of the rose comes from universal love, is the love and tenderness towards our brothers and our sisters. Brothers and sisters, let's open our rose. Let's join our hands. Let's love one another. The blissful love that springs from the heart is opening our rose to love one another. Loving is the simplicity of healing. How simple it becomes to recognize I must love. That's it. I just must love. Must love every moment, must love everyone, and trust that it is all in the divine perfection of being tethered more closely to God. And applaud. Once a young man came to me and said, "Dear Master, I'm feeling strong and brave today, and I would like to know the truth about all of my attachments." And I replied, "Attachments? Sweetheart, do you really want me to speak to you about all your attachments? When I can see so clearly that you have built with so much care such a great brothel to house all of your pleasures. You have even surrounded the whole damn place with armed guards and vicious dogs to protect your desires, so that you can sneak away from time to time and try to squeeze light into your parched being from a source as fruitful as a dried date pit that even a bird is wise enough to spit out. Your attachments, my dear, let's not speak of those. For the Master understands the sufferings of your heart and knows the torments and the agonies that every mind on the way to annihilation in the sun must endure. So at night, in my prayers, I often stop and ask 1,000 angels to join in and applaud anything in this world that can bring your heart comfort. Attachments go when you feel the comfort of truth, when you open and accept that you are loved, and you contemplate being loved for the first time, and you ask the Spirit of love to show you clearly what is love and what is it to be so loved. You can't conjure that up in your ideas of the world, but as you allow yourself to go into quiet and contemplate that every teaching ends up in the same place. Every teaching ends up in, you are so loved. You are love itself. What the ego would like of that relationship is to say, yeah, love, right? Love, okay. And kind of shove it over here someplace. But in the spiritual journey, your greatest friend is your contemplation, is your willingness to open the space, the aware space, to want the communication, to want the truth to be revealed to you. Not for entertainment, not for to see if you approve, but to nourish you, to comfort you. And the comfort and the nourishment become essential to come back to again and again and again. And every time you go back to the nourishment and the comfort of how loved you are, another element of that truth expands. You can't compare it to how much your dog loves you, how much your next door neighbors love you, or anything of this world. And when you go into that contemplation and you allow the Holy Spirit to take you, to show you, to give you that awareness of just a taste of it, of what that love is, that you have been loved and are loved since the beginning of everything, and further back, because there was no beginning. You have been loved forever. Forever. You have been loved beyond any possibility of knowing that love within this false life. You are adored. You are revered. You are held in the highest esteem. And yet, it's not known. It's not recognized. But it's available to you to recognize and to enter. And it is not a special gift of going into that contemplation. It is the encouragement of the divine that calls you to enter into the contemplation, the acceptance, the opening to the Holy Spirit, demonstrating and opening that door that you feel the love. It's not a concept. It is what and who you are. You cannot know from this world the truth of love. Even though every awakened master holds that love, it's still tenuous to all the ones who are looking for it. But it's in your grasp, and it's so important to open to that, to touch into what true love is and how much you are loved. and to feel that comfort and truth that in that love, you never, ever have anything that is not love. You never are anything that is not perfection. To contemplate that you are created in love, that you have always been the most exquisite, perfect creation of God. The only thing that stops anyone from contemplating and entering into this invitation is either the lack of faith or to be loved is to be afraid. It happens many times in the spiritual journey that when a beloved opens and feels the deeper truth, there's a reaction and a rebound that often happens because it's frightening. It seems frightening to the ego identity that says, well, then I won't be me. And all of creation is giggling because the me that you think you are was never you. It's this tiny identity that doesn't realize how tethered you are to all of love. And you are that love. And that love is the only power, truly, the power of love. It's not about a love song, it's about a reality. And how do you open, besides contemplation, how do you open to the truth of your being, the truth of all this love? It's through benevolence of your heart. It's through the willingness to see everyone else as that light and that love. It's the door that opens so that truth can be recognized more easily. Every time you offer love, rather than a judgment or an opinion, every time you offer love, your heart expands. Every time you offer love, your mind shrinks just a little in its intention of being separate. It doesn't hold it. The ego mind is not as solid as it was before you offered that love. It's not meant to be a complicated journey, and it isn't a complicated journey. The complication is of the world's journey. But the journey of love is not complicated. It's eliminating judgment, eliminating opinions, opening to gentleness, kindness, trust, faith, and the acceptance of the love that you are. There was a prayer, a hymn that used to embarrass me tremendously, because the prayer said, I am the light, I'm the way home to God, I am one with the Redeemer, I carry the power of God within me. And my reaction to it was, this is too much. It isn't too much. It isn't a big deal. It's just the simplicity of love, the humility of love that says, I accept God's love of me. I accept that I am adored. I accept that I am held and loved and revered. It's not a place of arrogance. It's a place of true humility, that you accept your perfection, your light, your love, and that this love can heal all creation. You have that much power. I'm feeling strong and brave today, and I would like to know the truth about all of my attachments. It is absolutely essential to look at the attachments, absolutely. But the attachments are not a condemnation. The attachments are just what took you in another direction during lifetime after lifetime, building up attachments of separation. Everyone is on the same journey, absolutely on the same journey. Some are more conscious that they are on a journey to love. Some are less conscious, but everyone is on the same journey. And you have the power, because of your conscious awareness, you have the power within you to bring transformation to all those around you through your love, your gentleness, your kindness, your honesty, your willingness. When you judge yourself against another that is walking in the world of form, you're always going to lose. It's guaranteed you're going to lose if you're comparing yourself to someone else. It may even look like you're winning, like you finally found the Achilles heel of another, but the fear starts creeping in about your worth. And that's the world of separation. That fear that creeps in about your worth. The lie is about your worth. Don't engage in a battle about your worth with anyone or anything, especially yourself. It's a game that there is no winner. There cannot be a winner, because it's based on a false identity to begin with. Go into that place of contemplation with the Holy Spirit and ask about the truth, not your worth. It's so beyond your worth. It's the power of the universe that is within you. There's nothing you can prove about it. There's nothing that you can diminish it with. There is no action that you can do while you're in the state of illusion that can be made to be points against you. All the ideas of failing, the ideas of succeeding, failing, not having, whatever it is that you judge yourself with, has no value at all, no truth. You cannot judge perfection. And to accept the perfection that is within you, that has nothing to do with this temporary identity. It's the willingness to open the floodgates to the acknowledgement and the awareness of your perfection. And as you accept the perfection, you actually realize that there is no you that is this perfection, and yet you exist within the universal truth of love and perfection. Everything in this seeming life is flawed beyond comparison, because the entire idea of being a separate person and being different has at its very basis, it's a lie. You can't be different. You can't be better. You can't be worse. You can't be more, less. There is no truth to all of those states of agreement. Do you want to, which is a very typical thing in the ego life, is to criticize yourself, to motivate yourself, to believe that you're going to pick out the things that are flaws and that you need improvement. No, this is all made up. Come into the contemplation with the spirit of love and allow yourself to open the mind and open the heart to learn the truth of yourself, of your divine self. And this is not a school place that says, okay, now this is your potential, so work toward that, become holy, become a good citizen. No. No. It's the kindness of your heart. It's the gentleness of your spirit. It's the generosity of your heart. It's the honesty of all thought. And it's the acceptance that you are the light of God, that you are all love. And where does the identity go that was all those other things? The nervousness, the nail biting, the worry, the concern, the anger, the resentment, the greed, the jealousy. Where does that come from, and where does it go? It's not you. It's been honed because the ego says you must have a defense system because you can die, because you believe in death. There is no death. You are not the body that will fall away. Your divine spirit will continue forever and ever and ever. And that spirit is love, is purity, is innocence, is everything that God created in truth, in the truth of love. You are that. Why is it important to see peace instead of what you think you know? I could see peace instead of what I'm seeing. Why is that a declaration? Why is that a prayer, an intention? Because it's the step that to break the trance of the lie, to start to accept that peace is your natural state. It isn't another state. It isn't a state you pick and choose instead of aggravation or resentment. Peace is what you are. Resentment, fear is not the truth. It's a lie. It's illusion. And you have the power within you to choose peace now and in every moment. It isn't so that you're good. It isn't so that you get a star next to your report card. It's because it's the truth of you. It's reality. It allows you to step out of the dream into reality of love and trust in the power of God. Trust in the power of God are not words that mean nothing. Trusting in God's creation is being tethered. Is saying, I'm giving you my life because it's where my life really is. I give you everything that I know, everything that I think, everything that I do, everything that I could conjure up. I give it. Take it all. Because it's all God's to begin with. The false will fall away, and the reality of love, of light, is what is actually living. The rest is just muck that's been made up. And all along the way of this journey of love, we meet beloveds who are offering us an opportunity of seeing through truth. I remember coming out of a movie 40 years ago with a friend. And this friend said to me, "Are you ever happy? Are you ever not seeing what's wrong?" I was immediately embarrassed and confused. But after I got home, I knew that what he said was true. I saw everything through difficulty, battle, unhappiness. Was he just someone who happened to say that? No. He was a gift. How do I remember that from 40 years ago? It's because it was so powerful to me that somebody would say that to me and be right. He didn't say it with anger. He said it with compassion, sadness even, that I was so unhappy. Those are the blessings that come along. But they have to be kind of turned around to be seen as blessings. They have to be shifted out of the belief that we're being treated unkindly, but really that those angels are showing up for us. Allow yourself to ask yourself about how you see the world, how you perceive the journey itself. And let the Holy Spirit show you the truth of your divine self. Can you accept that you are the sun and the moon and the stars? The brilliance of the sun that keeps this planet green? Can you accept that the sun is within you, that the moon is within you, that the moon is the reflection of the Divine Mother and the moon is within you, that you have the power within you of the force of the rain, of the wind, of all creation? It's within you. It's not too much. It's what is. And it's not, you're not more than someone else. It's all the power of creation. See it in everyone. Bless everyone with that truth. You don't get less because they are the same. This is the truth of abundance. You can be, and you are, the creation of God in all its perfection and all its power, and everyone is also in that same power. And there's always enough, because love is everything, all creation. So at night in my prayers, I often stop and ask 1,000 angels to join in and applaud. Applaud anything in this world that can bring your heart comfort. The comfort is in your acceptance of the perfection of your being. And that it is never God's will for anyone or anything of creation to suffer. There is no suffering in love. It's an acceptance that is so deep and so unfamiliar that we have to sometimes take it in small increments, because to be loved and to love is so unknown. It's so feared. Don't be afraid of being the creation of God. And don't be afraid to stand in that light. You're walking with other beloveds who haven't come to the place of awareness of the truth of love. How do you serve them? Do you serve them by joining them in their chit chat of whatever? Maybe, but your intention is to hold the truth of love and to convey to them that they are the light of God. How that comes about, how you're able to convey that, is between you and the Spirit of love. It's you being available for the perfect teaching of love in the moment. I had a big lesson with my teacher, Jose. I was in a study with him on learning how to see beyond the form and to see the identities that were built out of the ego that are there to see so that you can bring love to them. And I said to him, I see your structure of the ego structure that you came in with into this lifetime. I said, I see what it is. And I was very happy to be able to show him that and tell him that I could see it. And he looked at me very lovingly and calmly, and he said, yes, that's what I used to be. And in that moment, I recognized the teaching that he was offering me, that was I offering love in that moment? Or was it, I wanted to be the good student. I wanted to be acknowledged for my work. But I wasn't realizing that he was so beyond that. I was aware of it. But I didn't drop into that place because I wanted to be a good student. Allow yourself with every beloved that you rise to the highest place of awareness of how to serve each beloved. The confusion with the ego says, that's really tiring. And I don't know that I have it to give. But what happens is when you begin and you focus on offering love in whatever way is most helpful for the beloved that you're with, when you focus on that, you start expanding. Your awareness of love opens more and more, and your capacity to offer love grows with it. And I'm going to shake and I'm going to quake because every single opportunity has a little bit of shaking in it and a little bit of quaking in it, because every single opportunity of offering love brings healing to you. It's the way of healing. If you join in the illusion, in that moment, there's no healing because you're back in the past. But allow your love to grow. Allow it to expand. It's there. It's just, it's not in contact when you're in any kind of comparisons, any kind of, what about me? What about this? What about that? you can't access it. And that's what we're asked to do. That's what the journey is. Everything is given, everything is offered, and our willingness is our contribution. Our willingness to see it differently. I could see peace instead of what I think I know. I can change my mind. When you have a reaction to something, 100% of the reaction is I could see peace instead of this, as a counter to the reaction, because the reaction is always coming from the past. If you ask yourself one question every time there's a reaction, how familiar is this? Is this familiar? It's always going to be yes, because it's always going to be coming from the past. And that's your signal. That's your call to affirm, I could see peace instead of this. God's will for me is happiness because I am so loved. And I'm not letting go of this truth of love. I know that everyone in all of humanity has exactly the same history. It's exactly the same. I was unloved. I struggled to be seen. I was not recognized. I was not loved. And yet, the temptation is to throw away the love of creation, to repeat the past, to prove that you are right about the past. No, you weren't right about the past. You were mistaken. Everyone in the story was a mistake. And when beloveds ask, how did you cross that line into truth? It's because I'm not letting go of that love. I am not letting go of being loved. I begged for it. I prayed for it. I asked for it. I wanted the past to be gone. And the love is there waiting to be accepted. Accept it, hold on to it, and live through it. Let it become the center of your being, because that's what it is. But do it in a conscious way that you accept love and you won't let it go. And when the mind starts saying, I am unloved, I am this, I am that, no, I am accepting the love, and I am holding on to the love that is promised to me, that I am God's creation, and I will not accept anything else. And I will offer it to everyone that I possibly can through my heart, because that is what love creates. Forget the past and accept that you are loved beyond comprehension. But let the Holy Spirit take you into the depth of that love. Even if you can only touch it for a moment, it will spark and spark and spark within your heart, and it will be your strength. Invite it as your strength. It is strength. Everything else is weakness. Love is the strength. And all the attachments will fall away because they don't have anything to do with love. The mirage will fade and love will bloom. It's what you are.